That's
What you gonna say?
one. Oh, no, go ahead, more. You got it.
All right, so we picking up from where we left off in Moorish Paradigm, Book 13, and Islam to the Moors. I just hopped in here. Ali Khan Bey, happy holy day.
Islam, happy holy day.
Kajuax is Al Ozar. Islam, happy holy day. So we're continuing where we left off in the Moorish Paradigm, Book 13. Secret government took shape based on the United States' relationship with Morocco and Algiers in 1700s. Many Moors wonder why it is sometimes very hard to find information directly relating to the Moors and this nation relationship with the Emperor of Morocco and the Moorish Empire. One reason found in the congressional records was because the relationship with the Moorish Empire was purposely and officially kept secret from the American public. The reason that I can see that this happened was because for me, they did not want the American public to know that the United States was secretly still paying tribute to the Moors. They were also paying ransom for Europeans captured and enslaved in Barbary. The other reason was because the relationship with Morocco could have an effect on the Slavs and economy of the Slav states. A resolution was passed saying that the president must disclose what was going on with Morocco. But on Thursday, December 22nd, 1792, it is said that these communications were confidential. Before the discussions, the galleries were quote unquote shut and the citizens were quote unquote excluded. Madison and Mr. Nicholas complained, but Mr. Bourdieu said it was necessary, and it was said, quote unquote, secrecy in a republic government wounds the majesty of the sovereign people, that this government is in the hands of the people, and that they have the right to know all the transactions relative to their own affairs. This right ought not be infringed incautiously, for such secrecy tends to injure the confidence of the people in their own government, unquote. I'm going to skip past this, but this is a congressional record. If we want to examine this, we'll do it on the back end. If y'all choose to do so, just let me know. And ransom. It was disguised as the following language. So United States paying ransom to our empire here in the Americas at large. It's in congressional records in language that we're about to read right now. It was disguised using the following language, quote, resolved that a sum not exceeding dollars be appropriated in addition to the provision heretofore made to defray any expense which may be incurred in relation to the intercourse between the United States and foreign nations, unquote. Now let's examine what we just read, right? The quote unquote expenses, which may be incurred, quote unquote, is a secret way of referencing the tribute money and ransom to be paid to the Moroccan government. Notice that the amount of dollars is blanketed out so as not to be made public how much tribute and ransom was being paid to the Moroccan Empire. The United States Navy and Marines are also a direct result of this paying tribute and ransom, as can be seen in the next quote, end quote. Resolved that a committee be appointed to report to this House the naval forces necessary for the purposes aforesaid, together with an estimate of the expense. unquote. This is why the Marines motto says, quote, from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli or Algiers, unquote. So we're pretty much done with this Moorish paradigm. We knocked it all down. I'm gonna scroll through these book references because y'all might want to do some screenshotting or whatnot, and then we'll open the floor for that very brief conclusion of Moorish paradigm. Let me slow down here. Well, the floor is open right now. I'm just scrolling through the book references slowly, so y'all, just in case y'all want to jot something down. You got hella references. Same. So it's Mysteries of the American Pyramids by Peter Thompson. That sounds like fire right there. Mysteries of the Mexican Pyramids by Peter Thompson. You know how many references this man just dropped on here? Quality references.
I always enjoy too when the references have an English name and it's not ending like in El Bay or anything like that. It shows that there's, it's not coming from it's objective from both sides, or it's all them on here.
He hitting you. He really hitting you. He not shy. He not being shy with the references. Cause like I say, what if we had all these and we had them downloaded? We hitting people with facts. All we doing is like, look, I'm gonna lead you to a couple of these books. That's hella information. So we show you this stuff is not really hidden. But he even got Sex and Race Volume 1 through 3. The J.A. Rogers joint.
I think that's it's good too. Like, so you can, expand your knowledge as well. So say like if he touched on some things that you'd be like, dang, like I want to know more. So it just gives us like these references to kind of have something to go off of and, dig deeper into, something that might have caught, our attention or something. But these are all like, to me, they all look like really good, good books.
I just saw one that's on my list. I'm trying to find 76, and it's hard to find it.
Instead of Secret Teachers of All Ages. Biblia Kabbalistica. That sounds fire.
Right. Kabbalist.
But yeah. We even got the Law Dictionary out here. Clock of Destiny. Oral Statements by the Prophet. So somebody just walking off the street just ran into this book, read the whole thing, and then invested in like 50% of these references. Will change their life, man.
With all that, you might as well open a library to the public.
Yeah.
Everybody on.
Yeah, man. So basically, in summary, that last piece before we got into the references, Congressional Record, he's basically explaining how for one, two separate nations that, and then the United States was paying tribute to our empire here, in cute language, such as like, we just read right here. And he's pretty much decoded that. If nobody want to kind of discuss that last little piece, I'll transition to astro diagnosis.
I just find it interesting, like, it ties into what we was talking about the other day, how it says, the Marines motto from the Halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, both the kingdom and the empire. When Columbus and them landed in the Caribbean islands, he was advised by the people from there, because they were of the empire. So that does, like, it ties everything and everybody on the lands of America together.
Right. Yep. That's crazy too, eh?
Yeah, because I have a book. It's called I have it in my little library over there. I just don't remember the name, but yeah, it says that when he was advised that they thought it was the second coming of Quetzalcoatl because of the description or whatever. He fit the description, and that's one of the reasons why they trusted them at first. Like in Mexico, they don't really pay homage to what's it called, Montezuma, as much as Cuauhtemoc, because Cuauhtemoc actually he kept the Spaniards out of the empire for another 5 years after Montezuma was captured. Like, he kept, he's like, I'm not gonna give up. We can't give up on the people. We got to keep fighting, and they actually did execute him too. But I think something about they pulled his body apart on horses or something like that.
Damn.
I'm not sure. I don't remember. But
yeah, that's good info.
But if you go to Mexico, they still have what's it called? Buildings, or not buildings, but statues erected in his honor, because he was a real one.
Yeah, Islam. Yes, it's a lot of revolutionaries that people just don't know about. Another brother on the same tip, El Yanga. He was a Mexican revolutionary. Yeah, El Yanga. Yeah,
All right.
look
I heard him.
Yeah, Mexican revolutionary, darker than Wesley Snipes. They got a building of him. They got, a monument of him right by the pyramid ruins. But yeah, man, we know American culture. We just learning it. We get down to knowing what on our side, our heroes, our great people, our leaders. We ain't taught this.
Tupac. The original Tupac was named after him.
Right. Yeah. Nothing comes from nothing,
Real talk.
Typically something's gonna come from an original situation. So, and we are the original situation. So 9 times out of 10, cartoons, comic books, whatever, it's pretty much reenacting something we did, or a personification of something, and they turn it into a character or whatever the case may be. But anybody have any thoughts before we
I was just talking to somebody about that today, and that I just came across some info that there was somebody that owned DC Comics, but also worked at Marvel. He made all the characters, besides the ones that Stan Lee did, but he got them all from our deities, all of them. So they're all us.
that you mentioned that I've actually seen like there's a lot of what's it called? Because there's a lot of like figurines and stuff they find and statues where they actually have X's on their clothing, you know, like the X-Men. And they even like, you know, like the Wakanda type where they throw up the X.
Right.
Crazy.
Well, the X, one of the major meanings of it is the X chromosome. That's the mama gene. So we are from her. So we represent her.
Yeah, double X. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, man. Good stuff right here, man. On this day of Venus. Anybody else? Like I say, before I transition to astro diagnosis. All right. So now let me ask. This is new to right? For some reason, I feel like is this new to stomach? We're just not getting into the stomach, right?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure because I had like a little deja vu little situation right now. All right. So this is Astro Diagnosis by Max Wendell, picking up from where we left off. We've covered a lot. Started with the head, transitioned to the throat, the heart. Now we're in the stomach. This chapter, we're going to be diagnosing, with stomach trouble and tuberculosis situation and why on an astrological level. So in the diagnosis of a disease by the science of the stars, it is sometimes most difficult to know in what direction the afflictions may work. For instance, we have so often written off the sinister effect of Saturn in Cancer, the sign which has rule over the stomach. When he afflicts in this sign, he robs the stomach of its gastric juice, which is necessary for the digestion of food. Saturn in this place has also a tendency to create a desire for unhealthful foods and leads to the excessive use of cream, sugar, desserts, etc. But in this lesson and the next, we will endeavor or attempt to show how Saturn, when placed in the opposite sign, Capricorn, in which Saturn is at home, and where his influence is much more subtle and malevolent than when he is in the sign of Cancer, has similar effects. We will use two horoscopes by which we will show the effects of Saturn in Capricorn, whereby diseases are produced of vastly different natures. We will first use horoscope 6A, which is that of a man born February 19th, 1902 at 3 p.m. We find Saturn in 23 degrees, 21 minutes of Capricorn in the sixth house, which has rule over health. Saturn is in opposition to the moon. This last named planet is in its own sign of Cancer, the sign ruling the stomach. The moon is also in opposition to Jupiter. When Jupiter has any connection with signs or planets which rule the appetite, he creates a desire for food in large quantities. Whatever Jupiter does must be on a big scale. With the moon and Jupiter in opposition, we may look for the gourmand. With Saturn afflicted in Capricorn, the gastric juice of the stomach is sluggish, and we may expect trouble in the digestion of food. Saturn afflicted in Capricorn. If the stomach is filled with an excess of rich food, the man will receive nourishment from only that part which the stomach can digest. The blood is carried to the lungs to be oxygenated. Oxygenation is to the body what the draft is to the stove. If we shut off the draft, we smother and kill the fire. And so it is in the body. If man stops breathing, he dies. In shallow breathing, the lungs are not able to supply sufficient oxygen for warmth and energy, and they do not exhale all the carbon dioxide. So that's why I say take deep breaths, some yoga breaths. In this horoscope, we find Neptune in Gemini. Gemini has rule over the lungs. Neptune is on the cusp of the 12th house in opposition to Uranus in the 5th house in Sagittarius. Uranus and Neptune, when afflicted, indicate a nervous, cramping, spasmodic action. Neptune here indicates that the capillaries of the lungs were incapable of taking the amount of oxygen necessary to oxygenate the blood. Consequently, the carbon dioxide formed faster than the lungs were able to exhale. Okay. So all that is a consequence of Uranus and Neptune being afflicted. Because you're going to get nervous, start cramping, and have spasms. So your breathing pattern is short. You have short breaths. You're not taking deep breaths. So therefore, you're not getting the proper oxygen to oxygenate your blood. So therefore, carbon dioxide is forming too fast for you to exhale it out. That's diagnosis right there. That's specific. The result was that, so the result of too much carbon dioxide buildup, the result was that poison was stored up in the system. The nerve cells became weak and sluggish, and little by little, the body became lowered in resistive power. The weakest organ was then unable to keep up with this work. The bellows of the body, the lungs, in the case of this man, were unable to inhale enough air to burn up the poisons. The result was the lungs became diseased and tuberculosis set in. People with planets afflicted in common signs are frequently susceptible to tuberculosis. With the sun and Mars in conjunction in Pisces, and with Uranus in Sagittarius in opposition to Neptune and Gemini, Pisces, Sagittarius, and Gemini being common signs, the lungs, as a consequence, attracted impurities. Hence, we can see that Saturn in either Cancer or Capricorn may be the direct cause of disease, which expresses itself in another sign. 3 years ago, this man began to suffer with stomach trouble, which has now been followed by tuberculosis of the lungs, a disease which had its beginning in wrong eating. It can, at this stage, be cured by a very carefully chosen diet of raw vegetables and fruits and very little protein. Specific, very specific. We will in our next lesson take up horoscope 6b, which has Saturn in Capricorn, but which has its outcome in a quite different disease. So we'll pick it back up on number 6b, Wednesday. Want to open the floor for thoughts about the analysis, about the astral analysis, astral diagnosis that we just went through.
It just seems like Saturn's just like always causing some trouble somewhere, man. Like, I don't know, I guess obstacles or whatever, but wherever Saturn goes, there's some kind of restriction or some kind of penalty, some kind of. So it seems like I don't know where Saturn's gonna sit on the signs and be positive. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, whenever Saturn is in affliction with something, yeah, for sure. Because I know you're dealing with, you're dealing with very discipline. But imagine that on the flip side, on the adverse side, it's a good and adverse, to every sign. You got the optimal version, and you got the version of the sign that's not, things ain't going right for whatever reason. So I'd imagine Saturn on the flip side would be, adverse. But the whole, that whole Capricorn Cancer thing, that was like interesting to me. Because that's the direct opposite. That so
yeah, that part had me tripping out too, especially that it makes you want to do the opposite of what you would think. Like it's trying to push you towards sweets and creams, and like, that's crazy.
Right. And see, that's the thing. I think Saturn wants to be Saturn wants to be disciplined. So its opposite is not going to want to be disciplined. That's the opposite.
Right.
And I think, yeah, because remember, they was like, they said Saturn and the moon. But that's my mind when I was like, man, so that's basically saying Capricorn and Cancer. And them is two different sides of the spectrum. So all that, I want to be disciplined eating, the Cancer kind of conflicted.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what my mind went like with that, you know what I'm saying? How everybody else feeling? Any other thoughts on the astral diagnosis piece?
I am feeling attacked right now because I be eating the sweets and the ice cream and the cupcakes.
Oh, you the Cancer, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm working on the discipline though, like heavy.
Hey, it's all you can do. Just try to do better, But you see how it's living out though? Like, you can't make this up. We read something. Because we dealing with anything with an ology on the end, you're talking about the science of. So you talking about astrology and cosmology. And if it's the science of, it's measurable. It's an exactness to it. And the fact that we can relate to something that we just read, that show you where it's at. This is not no belief. It's more science, right? Actually, you know what I'm saying? This is another aspect of more science that we're getting accustomed of, getting a hold of, getting used to, comprehension of. And just like anything else, we went through first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, eighth grade, and we just start. I remember stuff. I remember math I learned from fourth. It just stick with you. But it's just a repetition. So this is gonna stick as well. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna shape us.
Happy Holy Day, everybody. This is definitely where the spiral that I'm in or have experienced being a Capricorn and dealing with my direct polar opposite with the passing of my godmother. She was cancer. So I see all of this so clearly with her health. You know, she, eventually started taking care of herself at a later age, and of course, it wasn't, she didn't do it fast enough. But in her attempt to change her health, she's bought, she's changed her diet. She's all, because I'm looking in her kitchen, she's bought, food processors and Ninja bullets, and she's got a whole cabinet full of teas, and she was just, I guess maybe over a couple of years she started transitioning to become more conscious, but it was just a little bit too late, so being the Capricorn and experiencing my direct opposite, I've inherited all of her her equipment, which all came into, right into my grasp, with because I'm being conscious now of my health. So, and that's the reflection I was supposed to get from experiencing that with her. It's like, okay, look at, she's 80 years old, but I'm 57, so I got time to not go that route with my health. So I've inherited all of her equipment, all of her teapots and everything. So I'm gonna have a science. My whole science lab is in my kitchen now. But thanks to being able to recognize that through my direct polar opposite. Unfortunate I had to watch it. But I saw myself possibly if I don't take care of myself now.
Right, right, and that's what it's about,
And that's.
and
There's another Capricorn.
you Capricorn, Rosleon?
Yep.
Wow.
That's
All
why
right,
I take stuff personal.
Yeah.
And my midheaven and my what do you call it? They're both in Cancer.
That's interesting.
Mhm.
You got a duality thing going on, You gotta.
Mother, I wanted to say too, like every time you use those, she gets to play with you. Those two.
Mm-hmm.
What he said, it was kind of choppy. I didn't hear the last part.
I said, every time she uses those tools that her godmother gave her, they get to play together.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. Oh yeah, I'm definitely in tune now to, and it's kind of funny, it's not, it's just spiritually ironic that, wow, here I am trying to change my diet, and this happens, and now I'm just totally transform everything, because and the universe brought everything I needed. You need a Ninja, you need a blender, you need a food processor, right here, all of it right here. Just do it. So that was kind of amazing to see that as we went over this, especially for Capricorn.
Yeah, and Cancer,
Right.
Any other thoughts? Min Kara, Islam, brother, good to see you.
Good to see you, brother.
Yeah, see you doing your school teacher thing. I didn't realize that's so interesting. I meant to ask you how that is.
It's working out, man. Trying to be strategic with planting them seeds in the minds of our youth, but it's working out. Thank you for asking.
That's beautiful, man. Yeah, so we feeding the homeless this weekend. I think we I would imagine we have everything. Me, Honuna, and Phoenix are whipping up the main course.
Mm-hmm.
We have people bringing bread, We got people bringing utensils,
Mhm.
if I'm not mistaken, napkins. I'm gonna bring some trash bags.
Mhm.
Got two tables in the trunk. Um, I'm not sure people who got if water, if it was talked about water or not. Something just to pass out to them. And of course, I got the warmer and
Mhm.
that extension cord. I didn't test it out yet. I'm not
Okay.
sure if that was short or not, but I'm a
Mhm.
Ag Stone as well.
Okay.
So we'll figure it out by Saturday, by tomorrow. We'll see.
Mhm. Well, I had kind of mentioned this when we were planning this earlier this week that considering our project, what we're going to do is feeding the homeless. That considering the fact that this is a season where every nonprofit church, every organization is out there going to be feeding them, all right? So we know that everybody's going to be food all over the place. Well, not just where we are, but they're going to know where to go to get food. I was actually considering like maybe if we'll test this out this time with the food, but we should probably see if we can get little packages together that we can give them for things that they can really use. Like right now, socks from the dollar store, a whole pack. Put a pair of socks and something. Give them something that they can use right now. Because it's cold, is they're outside. I mean, um, and we can actually, and the more of us can reach out to other people that can donate, because I'm sure people would be glad to donate some socks or some t-shirts or something, some long sleeves, something, covers, just stuff like that they know that they can use. Toothpaste, toothpaste. I don't know if they, toiletries, period.
Right.
you know um Mafi mom, before she passed at the church, when she was at the church, she put together around this time the little samples that people go to hotels and they, everybody brings home the little samples of lotion and soaps and stuff. So she had created a big box at the church and was asking people, if you go to your bathroom and you have any of these little miniature little items, just bring them to church and put them in the box. And that was such a success. We had the box, it was really we received a lot of donations and we just bagged them up and and it worked. It was really easy. No one had to buy anything. It was just mostly donations, for toiletries like that. But that's just a thought. I'm just putting some other things out there where when for this project, and they probably could utilize a lot of the stuff more so than for a couple of days versus just one day I'm gonna eat a meal.
Right. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's good. Anything that they can use,
Yeah.
Yeah, so as we continue to do it, in the next round, add that.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah,
See how well it goes over.
yeah,
But the issue would be trying to store everything, though. We would have to, if we're getting the donations like that for little sample stuff, where will we put it? Because we want to eventually gather it all up at one point and then bag it up. Like continue to collect and keep collecting it and storing it until we can. That would be the issue, is storing it.
right. The brother Menkara, it's gonna be the temple over there in the garment district. It's gonna be at 11 o'clock. DM me the same question you put in the chat because I don't think we dialogue on IG in a while or whatever. So it's pretty far. And I'll text you the address.
Thank you, brother.
So, anybody else have anything? Any thoughts? think that's pretty much it. I think we pretty much covered everything for Sunday. I would imagine, I guess chairs, I would say, you know, I think we might got enough chairs, but if you want some comfortable chair, bring your own comfortable chair. I think, I got about 3 fold outs in my trunk, but that's the only thing else I can kind of think of,
Mhm.
you know. We might even, cause I got the whole tent thing. I might could put the tent up and we could serve under the tent. I don't know.
Mm.
That might be a thought too.
Mm-hmm.
Same tent we use at the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Just be in front of the temple spot. And yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Well, okay. Yeah.
Tazamaji, Islam. Carmisha, you got something to say?
Well, Islam to Mutazamaji, Islam sis. So y'all just like be at the beach and stuff.
Wait,
You
yeah.
know, I live in the forest, so it's like, what, the beach?
Nah, we were doing that for the summer, but we did like a little tour back and forth from Lamert Park to the what's the name of that beach?
Winnipero.
Yeah, Winnipero. But yeah, we're gonna be in front of the temple spot where we at now, by the garment district. And it's gonna be our first time setting up like this over there. Yeah. Yeah, it should be pretty cool. I still gonna ask Amaru. I'm gonna check to see if he got an extension cord. And I think that's pretty much the only thing. I think we're pretty much straight.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Have all y'all met like in person?
On the Zoom call, everybody on the Zoom?
Yeah.
The only person we ain't met you in person.
I know.
The brother on here, Quatacolo, I ain't met him in person. And I'm not sure who's REB. I'm not even sure who REB is.
That's my second one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just Quatico, you, and the brother that's a school teacher that we were just talking right now, me and Korah. But everybody else we met in the flesh.
That's what's up. Okay, so how do you pronounce your appellation? Quetzalcoatl. Quetzalcoatl.
What?
Help me.
Oh, Quetzalcoatl. I mean, it's just like that. Quetzal. Quetzal is it's a bird from South, America, Mexico region. A pretty big bird. Like if you ever seen the danzas they do out, they do them in LA, Phoenix, different places, that still keep the culture alive. They use the feathers for dancing, for the headdress. And then Coat is snake. So Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent.
Okay, I'm about to practice that, like for real. Just very different, your appellation.
No, it's crazy too, because what we were talking about earlier, over there, the Taínos, and that's the Caribbean, in Nahuatl or Mexica, they call it Tonantzin, and that would be the equivalent to Isis in Egyptian. And in the Taíno language, which is, pre-Columbus, before they spoke Spanish, they actually referred to their mother earth deity as Ata Bay. Atabey. That's Arabic, isn't it?
Yeah.
I thought I found that, like, when I found that out, I thought it was very interesting.
Yeah.
But that does come full circle. You know, it's the same people. They spoke different.
Yeah. Different dialect, you know. Same people. It's a question in the chat from Yamila. Atlakato. Atlakato.
What happened? I didn't see.
So Atlakato.
Yeah, Atlacatus.
She's asking about, do you know any in-depth information on Atacado?
I never heard of that. Nah. Let me see the chat. Hold on. I mean, I don't even see what she said there.
Yeah, it's spelled A-T.
Nah, but I never heard of it.
Or could I like to share some information? Oh yeah, go ahead, brother. He said, I guess the brother got some info in Kairai.
Yeah. I had the pleasure of doing some archaeology work with the Kauai Indians out here in the Riverside County, Seminole County, California, and was able to get some good insight on a lot of information. And I like the brother, he used the word Nawa, which is the native term prior to Spanish, invasion and so forth. And the state of California has more native tribes than any other state in America, right? And I wanted to share with you guys. I'm trying to set up this field trip, right? And it's a forgotten culture. Well, not forgotten. Most people don't know about it. Has anybody ever heard of Chaco Canyon?
Yeah, yes, I have.
Okay, I kind of figured you.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to share some pictures with you guys, but in Chaco Canyon in the New Mexico region, it's an Anunnaki culture where you see a lot of masonry, a lot of infrastructure put in place. These people built almost like apartment complexes in stone, and it's right here in the backyard of America. And a lot of people aren't talking about it. Oftentimes, I ran across professors, European professors who would speak about it, but not too many people promoting it, promoting our culture. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. The Chaco Canyon, if you can, go just Google it out. I'm doing Zoom calls all the time, but I see that the brother, he's sharing the content. But if I got some pictures and things like that, sites I've been to and things like that. Shalom.
There's some known as well. There's they called it. I've been there. It's called Montezuma's Castle. There's one out here in Arizona. It's not too far from Phoenix. It's only an hour and a half. I've been there one time. I go to go camping and shit, and it's on the way.
What part of Arizona are you in?
It's pretty cool. I'm in Phoenix, though.
Oh.
Phoenix, Arizona.
We're gonna link up and
What was
build.
that?
I said we're gonna, as long as these Zoom calls are, stay consistent, so forth. I'm often in I have people in Tucson, and I've built with some Yuma Indians, natives,
Yeah.
the Kauai natives, the Chumash out there, Malibu. A lot of information. We'll get some time to break it down. I'll create a nice PowerPoint and I'll send it to the brother. We can have some discussion about that.
I have some family out there that from my sister, her husband, he's actually part of the Yaqui tribe, Yaqui Indians, and that's where their reservation is at. They have a little town over here. It's not an official reservation, but it's still like seen as, it's not officially a reservation. Their official reservation is in Tucson, but they're all out here too in Guadalupe. Guadalupe is actually, the Spaniards couldn't pronounce Coatlachope, which is another name for Tonantzin, which is another name for Isis, the devourer of serpents. That's what that means.
Yeah, man. And on a unification tip, you know, 'cause like I say, the more is about unifying. Everybody that's, you know, doing the Indian thing will help them realize why we need
Yeah.
to unify, and all the congressional records that speak that, you know, the correct term is more before the Indian paradigm and all that good stuff.
Yep.
It will all link up, man. You know what I mean? That's the whole vision, you know, under
That's the
that.
thing. Like,
Under
you
the,
know, I didn't know nothing until I started, you know, doing it for myself. Cause, you know, my family, they don't really know nothing either. And I only know like a couple of, you know, uncles that are said this or that or the other. But, you know, I picked up the books and basically it.
yeah, man.
And the Indignitio movement, which is something I'm just learning about, you know, which is, you know, Latin word for indigenous, and the Sabata movement, you know, it's still active, you know, and like you said, if we could unify and get everybody on the same page with this information, you know, we'll start to see more unified progress opposed to, you know, the division that's been promoted. So I'm all for that. It's just this.
Even in their little, like you're saying, identifying as Indians and on the tribe, you know, there's a lot of it ain't where they should be, because no one really, they either don't care or they just don't know, you know, and it is sad, bro, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but you know, it's a new type of energy, you know, on the planet. So
We'll talk.
it's trending back to how it's supposed to be, regardless. We're just trying to help it expedite what's already happening, the inevitable. We just, you know, we're just pushing along with the
It's like there's more of us than there is of them these days. It's like, you know, they're having people are more purely European or having trouble having babies these days and stuff like that. So, you know.
Right. Right. Yeah. So basically what he's saying, like the physical bodies on the planet is gonna be majority, you know, people of melanated or Asiatic Moorish stock. So we might as well get our heads screwed on straight and learn the culture, work with each other and all that, since we're the majority on the planet. You know,
I found interesting that, you know, when they talk about soul music, you know, where's that originate from, and Elvis and them copying that and getting famous and this and that, and that was the whole thing. But like, you know, back, if you really take it real back, these people, we always been doing dances, like no matter where you were at, like people that dance, you can dance to anything, whether it's cumbias, you know, soul music, they would dance because in the pyramids, you know, over there in Tenochtitlan, there's temples erected of the sun, you know, pyramids, and of the moon, and they would dance because the sun, you know, provides us with energy. And what is energy? It's movement. The sun moves, and that movement gives us movement. You know, the people of the sun. That's exactly what they used to call themselves over there. The people of the sun. You know, you have to dance. You're dancing in honor of the sun for the life and the energy it gives.
And I want to add something to what the brother was saying about the change in energy. And I want to quote something from the 12 laws of the universe. The law of perpetual transmutation of energy. All persons have within them the power to change the condition of their lives. Higher vibrations consume and transform lower vibrations. Thus, each one can change the energies in their lives by understanding the universal laws and applying the principles in such a way as to affect each. In other words, if you're vibrating at a higher frequency and you're in the company of people with lower vibration, you will always have more of a powerful influence over them than they will with you. So keep that in mind, family. Keep pushing that positive energy. Shalom.
That's beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah, that's beautiful right there. And the fact that we linking up like this, the people that's on here, because like the brother that's speaking, like I said, we met on Kush Day thing, right? It was on. That's how the communication started. It was on a Kush Day live,
Mhm.
and then I'm like, anybody in Cali, hit the DM. Let's build. Now we building. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. You know what I mean? And
And the other thing that I find interesting that because recently I went to Sedona, bro. Like I think it was like 2 weeks ago. I went with my mom. She had a little business event out there, and I was paying attention to like everything. Like you know how it's Khalifa society, and where Khalifa society is the Empress Khalifa. From what I've read, it used to be an island, and like literally that would mean that parts of Cali, parts of Arizona were underwater. When you go to Sedona, they talk about the red rocks. You could see like everything that's red. It looks like like the water line, and on the very tip top, it's like more brown, white. To me, it looks like obvious, like the water was there. That's where the water line was. All this was underwater. They had it. She had her own little thing going on over there. That's crazy.
yeah, man. Yeah, Seer touched on that too. What they call like Baja California. Even right now, it's like it's a body of water that's separating Mexico from
Yeah.
from California, basically. And some would say that's
Yeah.
the Red Sea or whatever. But that's the island,
Yeah, literally like a piece of donut, bro. And that's what they're known for, the red rocks. And it only makes sense, like you said, the Red Sea. If the water was still to fill up again, or it was to happen again, the water would look red because of the mountain, because of the rocks there. You look down, it's red.
Right. Yeah, man. And that shows all that, biblical stuff is over here. Last week, we're talking about the Phoenicians, Carthaginians, Ecuador, over here.
Spoke. I have some what's it called, literature on that as well.
Okay, yeah.
Likewise. Next time we have a conversation about that, I got some information. A lot of people not bringing up regarding the Phoenician and who they are, where they came from, and where their origin is. I want to share this too. Anybody ever been to the Red Sea in California?
I haven't been there.
I went there for archaeology. I spent a month in the bush with the Queen Indians, and brother, I haven't ate tilapia since 2012, and I urge a lot of our people to stop eating tilapia. That sea was created from a natural drift from the Colorado River, right? And over time, I guess an earthquake happened or something, but the water wasn't able to replenish in the fresh water. So over time, it became very acidic. That's why the water's red. When I first got there, brother, I'm like, wow, is that white sand? And as I got closer, it was pulverized, almost to a powder context of tilapia bones and salt. And it was dead tilapia all around the rim of the whole sea, right? I was like, wow. The sea is so massive that it has waves. It's the back door to the southern part of California and the front part of Mexico. You see the point I'm making? When you stand, or if you're on what is that now? What's the name of it? It's a mountain though that oversees that. You can see Mexico on the right hand side, and you can see the Red Sea, et cetera, right, brother? When we were out there, the park ranger asked us how long we were going to stay there, and asked us, if you're going to be camping out here, make sure you have a pistol on you, because it's a lot of drug use going on out there and so forth. But in the 50s, if you type in like Bombay Beach, they were considering that like the Manhattan Beach in the desert. You see a lot of people buying properties out there in the 50s and so forth. And then when that earthquake occurred and that water wasn't able to replenish itself and became acidic and the fish started dying and everything started drying up, it changed everything. But yeah, I haven't ate tilapia, brother, since I've been on that journey. And I urge people not to eat that fish. Shalom.
I appreciate that, man, because tilapia is like terrible, man. So I appreciate you putting that out there.
It is, brother. And when they clean sanitation, that's the first thing that they use. They use the tilapia to eat basically our feces. And then they treat the water. And then they sell those tilapias right back to the supermarkets.
Okay.
Yeah, man. So now that we know better, we do better. That's all. And the mind is the key. Back to the placebo. Healthy mind. Eat things that you study is nutritious. You eat them, and your mind gonna be like, yeah, this is making me better. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. Because your mind gonna cure your body. You know what I'm saying?
Agree.
I got like 10 minutes. I got a couple deliveries I gotta make, but anybody got any thoughts they would like to add in general? And don't forget to take DM me, brother, too, so I can hit you with the address for Sunday.
I'll just say to be continued to next time. And I'll have some time for the winter break, so we won't link up, but don't worry about it. Time is solar. Time is solar. I'll share.
Yeah. Everybody, nobody has any other thoughts. Everybody have a beautiful night. Appreciate y'all. It's a good build. Always love building with the nobles. And see majority of you guys Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Some love. Happy Holy Day.
All right.
Islam. Happy Holy Day, Moors. Peace and love.
Islam, everybody.
Islam.
Islam, happy holy day.
Islam, happy holiday.
Islam, have a blissful holiday.